Hello and welcome to episode 111 of the Perth to Paisley podcast. The best league in the world is back. The worst Hearts podcast in the world is back. And you know it's a strange time when Hearts are beating Kilmarnock in Gorgie. To chat about that match, alongside myself, Adam Kennedy, and some other things, is Daniel McIver. Mr. McIver, how are you? Hope all's well.
Doing very well. Yeah, we've had a month off. I hope everybody's found it okay. Doing good. The World Cup was weird. We'll get into it. It was a weird feeling, but Hearts are back now. As you say, an unexpected win that I did not plan on having. But yeah, doing well. It's Christmas. I'm in the Christmas jumper. You'll be in one soon. Loving life. How are you?
I've not even got the option. I'm great, mate. I'm great. The World Cup was weird, wacky, wonderful. The fairy tale ending. The greatest of all time gets the trophy that's eluded him up until now after possibly the greatest final that I've ever seen. That was just something else. I mean, the entire tournament, to be fair, how mad is it that the World Cup winners essentially had to get past the Hearts centre-back en route to lifting this trophy? What a wild thought.
And technically nearly didn't he, because it was a narrow win in the end.
Yes, very much so. That game containing the best of the world was brilliant. And Messi must be honoured to play against Kai Rolls.
Exactly. I want his focus on Kai Rolls, because obviously Atkinson played and did remarkably well considering who he was up against, despite the way some people were acting on Twitter as if it was like Innes Cameron or something. It was like, because everybody calm down, he's done quite well. Devlin sadly didn't play, but got a better memento than anyone who was in the Australia squad. But ridiculous. the two kind of standouts from the Australian team were Harry Souttar and Kai Rolls. And Kai was it. I remember at the start of the tournament seeing a bunch of people be like, "Oh, I don't know how well Kai will play. Like, I don't know how much he'll play. It'll be interesting to see if clubs kind of take an interest in him." And by the time Australia went out, Hearts Twitter had decided that the opening bid was 25 million.
I was hearing 25 million per toe.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, what a tournament he had.
And what a tournament it was. Do you know what? The World Cup took a lot of flack. I don't want to touch upon any of that because quite rightly it took some flack. But in terms of on the park, it was a slow starter. Don't get me wrong. Like some of the groups were honking. But I actually felt it was decent toward the end. Would you call them that?
I'll be honest, I disagree purely because I just couldn't get into it. I watched all the Australia games. I didn't really watch any other group stage games. I caught bits and pieces. I just couldn't get into it. The round of 16, I watched the Australia game, and I watched a lot of Argentina purely because I was supporting Argentina for Messi. And then again, I didn't watch any Brazil games. I didn't watch any Spain games apart from the second half against Germany. It just wasn't for. I'm not into international football.
I was going to say you are so anti-international football,
but particularly with this World Cup and everything, I just couldn't get into it. But the final, I would disagree. It's the best final ever purely because we hold that with a 5-1. But
yeah, I know. But I mean, my dad did say that as well when I
international finals. It's the best. It's the best World Cup final at the very least. Yeah. I was an emotional wreck at the end of it. My heart rate got up to 178, so that was some laugh in extra time. And I was just so happy for Messi. When they scored in extra time, I screamed at the TV, "Don't use fuck this up for him," and they did nearly.
I was going to say they very nearly did. That was, I mean, Kylian Mbappe scoring a hat trick in a World Cup final, and you still end up on the losing team
and scoring a penalty. His penalty in the shootout as well.
3 penalties. Like, how much more has he got to do? So thanks very much for the first pen as well, given that I had Messi and Mbappe both to score and both teams to receive a card. Thank you very much. I mean, maybe this was just a great tournament because I rinsed the bookies for once.
I was about to say, I had a bet that I thought was nailed on. It was both teams to have one shot on target each in each half. And by halftime, France hadn't got out their own
France were honking that first half. Like, I did not see that coming at 80 minutes. I really didn't. Up until the pen, I thought France have just like replicated their quarterfinal performance against England, their semi-final performance against Morocco, where they're just like getting results. I was starting to believe that their name was already like written on it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like just because of how they were getting through, I thought like it would just have been an absolute sin for Messi and for Argentina had they not won that.
It is a testament to how good the final 10 minutes of the game and the rest of extra time and penalties were that people are calling it the best final ever. Because for 80 minutes, it was a rubbish game.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it still is. It's easily the best World Cup final. Like, just considering the stakes on it, as you say, the literally fairy tale ending, probably the two best players in the world just now being like arguably each were man of the match, depending on how you look at it. Just, it was amazing. I'm so happy for Messi. So buzzing for him. And now he's got to go into the PSG dressing room with Mbappe and just wave at him and be like, hi. Neymar's sad in the corner, dancing into the ground.
As am I. You know that Mbappe is going to transfer this Messi. He's wanting that into Miami deal done. See you 100%. Later. Thanks for ruining my summer.
Messi's never scoring again. He's going to be training with the kids for the rest of the season.
That's it. I was thinking about that. Like, he's ruined, I said his summer there, but it's winter, of course.
Yeah.
But until the summer, until he can piss off, arguably, that's like what a shit start to your year. And rubbish end to your year.
He's going to be doing it all the time. Just like whenever there's a moment where he's shouting for the ball and Mbappe's like, why? It's like, because we beat you, right? So give me the ball. I'm more trusted with it.
Get it right round you, wee killer. No, I tell you who needs to get it right round them. Cristiano Ronaldo and Piers Morgan. Yes. Have some of that.
Fully support that. Fully support. I just never found, like, I never understood the debate between Messi and Ronaldo. Like, I always thought Messi is the clear thing. And I get it for some people that you need the World Cup. I think, regardless of that result, he was the best of all time. But now it kind of puts it to bed completely. It's like, he is just the best ever.
Without a doubt. And he's faced, 3 Hearts players and Jason Cummings.
Exactly.
Winning the trophy. Exactly. What more do you want?
Nah, exactly.
That's it. So, got past the SPFL Select. Before we start talking about the SPFL and Hearts' game and what have you, we're going to touch on some news. Of course, it's been a while, as you mentioned. What was it, 5 weeks?
5 weeks, yeah.
4 weeks. Probably been the best 4 or 5 weeks of the listeners' lives, but we're back, so sorry about that. We're going to go through the terrifying, the sad, and the good in that order. First up, Heart of Midlothian will face Hibernian in the 4th round of the Scottish Cup. Robbie Nielsen's Jambos will lock horns with their Edinburgh rivals on Sunday, January the 22nd. I've already requested this off work, so we better beat those bastards. McIver, your initial reaction, were you surprised? Because
no,
on Hibs being first drawn out the hat, I certainly was not.
It was like, for 80 years, we played them like 6 times. And in the last 12, we've played them about 10. It
is wild, isn't it?
It's unbelievable, man. I'm not going. I've got the opportunity to get a ticket. I'm not going because in the history of Heart of Midlothian and Hibernian football clubs, we have played 2 games at Easter Road in the Scottish Cup. I've been at both of them and we've lost both of them. So nice. I'm going
stay away.
Nowhere near, man. Nowhere near. I hate it.
The worst I've seen is a 0-0 or a 1 each draw. So at the very worst, it'll go to extra time by this logic. But I can't handle that because there's no replays, is there?
No, there's not. It'll just go
straight. It needs to be settled on the day.
Yeah. I think I might be wrong, and I'll have my dad to be like, what are you talking about? That's wrong. I think in my life, I've been to 6 games at Easter Road, including the women's team. And I've seen 2 wins, a draw, and 3 losses. I must have one of the worst records for any Hearts fan. My brother's like you. My brother's never seen us lose. I think my brother's exclusively seen us win for the men's team. And then he saw us draw for the women's team and lose on pens in the Capital Cup.
He's got an even better record than me.
Yeah, so he's going. So we should be fine.
The omens are good. I like
Yeah.
that. I mean, this has to be his first win at Easter Road, doesn't it? It has to be. Otherwise, our season's done.
Well, that's
being
not
honest.
true. That's not true.
It
Third
kind of
is still
though.
huge.
Do you think there is? Oh, I can't believe I was gonna come out and say that sounds so. No,
Oh, God.
no, I was gonna say, do you think there is competition for third? But there clearly is.
Yeah,
Is.
I think Aberdeen are the clear competition for third.
Only competition for third?
No, I was going to say, and weirdly, St Johnstone.
Oh, mate, where have they come from?
I don't know.
What's going on?
And Livy, we'll say that.
Livy I swear we both tipped them for the drop. Yeah, I feel like Livy are more likely to than St Johnstone.
Yeah, Livy have a better chance of sustaining it across the rest of the season.
I'll go along with that. Because Martindale is just a genius.
He's just really good, isn't he? He's just good.
We're going to touch on the sad now. Obviously, 2 deaths connected to the football club. Norrie Davidson, who scored the winning goal for Hearts in the League Cup final of 1962, and former chairman Leslie Deans, obviously chair when Hearts ended their trophy drought in 1998. Not nice news, McIver. 2 big connections to the football club.
Yeah, absolutely. And 2 men who are linked to silverware, which is not very common for Hearts and kind of most clubs outside of Celtic and Rangers within Scotland. So to be linked, and especially Leslie Deans, just because of our ages, I have more knowledge on Leslie Deans. To be the chairman when we break that barren spell is amazing.
42 years.
By all accounts, very much a Hearts fan. Kind of wound up a lot of non-Hearts fans with some of his comments. But fair play to him. And Norrie Davidson, that is literally a legendary thing to have associated with you, especially in a competition that we never win.
The last time we won it, I think.
Exactly.
So there you go. The 42-year drought of the Scottish Cup ended with Leslie Deans at the helm, if you like, and Norrie Davidson. I mean, how many folk can say that they scored the winning goal for Hearts in a cup final?
Exactly.
So sad news. But before we get chatting about the action, there is a spot of good news. And that is Liam Boyce extending his deal with the Jambos. I'm just going to read the little blurb thing off the website because this will drag out a bit of time. And considering we've only got 1 game to talk about, I don't know how long this episode's going to be. So Heart Midlothian Football Club is delighted to confirm that Liam Boyce has signed a contract extension. The forward has penned a deal that will keep him at Tynecastle Park until 2024 with the option of a further year subject to Scottish FA approval. I'll just skim 35 goals in 87 appearances, including 16 during last season's campaign. Currently sidelined with a cruciate injury, the 31-year-old is busy rehabbing with the target of being involved before the season's end. And Robbie Nielsen hopes he'll be able to call upon Boyce's services in the first part of next year. The gaffer said, "It's great news that Liam has committed his future to the club. He's an integral part of the team and really suits our style of play. So to know that he's going to be here longer is really positive. We're not rushing him. He'll continue to rehab and build up his fitness. When he's ready to be involved, then we'll involve him." And Joe Savage said, "Liam's a top player and we want to look after him as we do with all our players. It was obviously a massive blow to lose him for so long, but it gave everyone a chance to sit down and discuss things. And we're really happy that we were all in agreement that his future is with Hearts. There's a further year's option on his contract, and I'm pretty confident that we'll see Boyce continue to bang in the goals beyond 2024. McIver, we're both big fans of Boyce. Had to be done, didn't it?
Absolutely, and especially I'm glad with that further year, which is an optional extension, because I wanted a 2-year deal. Genuinely, I don't understand the people who didn't want him to stay. On top of those 35 goals, he's also got 15 assists, so 50 goal contributions in 87 games is just incredible.
Oh, bloody bad, is it?
He when he got hurt, it is noticeable which certain players suddenly tailed off as well. And the team itself, we've kind of finally got used to not playing with him, but time will tell if we can actually continue that. He is, I've always said it, he's our most important outfield player. Everything he does makes us good. And when he's having an off day, we have an off day. When he's even slightly on it, we play well. I know people will look at his goals and go, he doesn't score enough, even though he scored 16 last season. But
that was our fault, though.
Yeah, exactly. We
many
jinxed
a
that.
time on this show.
Yeah,
sorry, Liam.
We absolutely jinxed that, and he has been very clear to me personally that he holds us responsible for that.
Yeah, I was going to say the fact that he's not ribbed us more is testament to his character. What a great guy!
But just even when he wasn't scoring, when he dropped into the 10, it was so clear how good he was, allowing others freedom. Ellis Sims blossomed so well under him. Barry Mackay was, I think, so much of Barry Mackay's season last season was down to how well Liam Boyce played. Delighted for him. Hopefully he's back sooner rather than later. His interview was great. It does just make sense on a personal level. His family's settled here. His kids are in school. It makes sense. Delighted, and I hope we take up that extra year as well.
Yeah, it seems to be a win for all parties. Yeah. You talking about Ellis Sims there, just I watched him for Sunderland recently and I was like, big man, get back up the road.
Literally, the best of both worlds is happening. Ellis Sims is doing well, but Sunderland are somehow managing to bottle everything at all times. So I'm loving life. It's great.
As long as Sims continues to go from strength to strength, but Sunderland obviously don't for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Marvellous. Shall I chuck my Christmas jumper on now?
Yes. So for listeners who aren't watching this, as Adam put it on, I'll explain this. Last year this happened. I had a Christmas jumper on because it's the Christmas episode. We're releasing this only a couple of days before Christmas. Adam last year, nothing. Nada. So this year, I'm back on, if you're watching on YouTube, with the Christmas jumper. He was sat there about to not have anything, goes, I don't even have a Christmas jumper. And then he lets it slip that no, he does actually have a Coca-Cola Christmas top. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can now see he's put it on, he's got the Santa drinking, we're both in the festive cheer, and we're about to speak about a Hearts win. It's going great.
Season's greetings, Feliz Navidad. I don't even like Coke. That's the thing.
I'm drinking Coke. We've got a sponsorship on the go.
I'm an Iron Brew man.
I'm also an Iron Brew man. Are you both? I'm a fan of both. Not at the same time. One after the other.
That's plenty. I'm a fan of Iron Brew. I'm a fan of all things Scottish, and that, of course, involves the Scottish Premiership. See that?
What a segue that is.
He's back. He's back, baby. We're going to go around the grounds because the cinch is back. And it all kicked off on Thursday, the 15th of December. The Michael Beale era at Rangers kicking off with a 5-goal thriller in what was a fantastic advert for Scottish football upon its return. And that ended Rangers 3, Hibernian 2 at Ibrox. Saturday saw Livingston versus Dundee United and Motherwell versus St Mirren both fall victim to the weather. However, the first game was at lunchtime and that saw Celtic squeeze past Aberdeen 1-0 at Pittodrie thanks to a late goal from Callum McGregor. And alongside our game, of course, which we'll get into at 3, St Johnstone came from behind to beat 10-man Ross County thanks to an Ali Crawford brace. What did you make of the other goings-on within the cinch, McIver?
So the first game, the Hibs Rangers game, I wasn't really paying attention to it until about half an hour in when I checked my phone and it was, there's been everything happening ever in the opening 15 minutes. I don't know what to make of either side, really, because in the first half, Hibs could have had 3 or 4, which is insane to say at Ibrox. And then in the second half, Rangers could have had 3 or 4 and Hibs just looked abysmal. Friend of the family, Terry Patterson, who's a Hearts fan, made it very clear that I have to say that's now Hibs 5 places from the bottom, and we're only in December. So who knows what's going to happen with that? No, Killian, Dundee United are 2. Hibs are not in danger of getting relegated purely because of that.
We're going to touch on Killy later on, don't you? Yes. I've got some questions to ask about Killy.
Absolutely, but I don't know how Rangers fans will be feeling about the Michael Beale era. They'll probably take a lot of positives from the second half, but they'll want to forget really quickly about the first half especially.
Can I just say, we're recording the Tuesday night, so Aberdeen and Rangers are about to go toe-to-toe at Pittodrie. I'm really intrigued to see how that plays out, because Aberdeen against Celtic, which is no doubt the next game that you were going to come on to, oh my goodness gracious me.
Well,
wow.
What was it? It finished 33 shots from Celtic to 2 of Aberdeen or something like that.
Aberdeen had something like 19% or 20% possession, 2 shots. Callum McGregor made more passes than the entire Aberdeen team.
I saw that. It's crazy. And However, though,
Oh,
it is interesting, as you say, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when we finish recording and what Aberdeen do. Because Jim Goodwin could rightly make the argument it nearly worked, but in one moment, they got to the right to the end of the game and it nearly worked. I would be interested to see the narrative if that goal hadn't went in and all those stats were the same,
yeah.
but Aberdeen had managed to get a point. Like, for example, tonight.
Then the media would have been praising it all told. I mean,
absolutely.
personally, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I've got to be honest. If you implement that away from home, good on you. I think at home, Aberdeen have won 5 league games on the spin at Pittodrie.
They've been amazing at Pittodrie this season.
They're just back, a capacity crowd, no doubt, against the reigning champions, the league leaders. Why not? Why not just try and they didn't even? I couldn't even tell you when they got out their half. At least look as though you're going to try and do some damage. They didn't even do that.
I saw Goodwin speak. He was obviously, as expected, he was quite defensive about it, no pun intended. And
wow,
basically, he made the point that they went to Ibrox a few weeks ago and had a go and got absolutely battered. Now, I know the solution, it's not binary. It's not either you go and have a go or you do that. But maybe Goodwin in his head thought it was binary. So it'll be interesting to see, as we say, tonight in a couple of hours when we're finished, if they do the exact same, if they go for it, or if they try and find that balance, a defending deep, but then, because they've got a lot of pace in that attack. I don't know how fast Majowski is, but that, Duke's really fast. Bezzy's quick.
Yeah.
It will be interesting. And then I can't believe, by the way, that all these games are getting called off, and the one that doesn't get called off is Ross County.
I know. I said these. I said they on Saturday. I was thinking it must be absolutely Baltic up in Dingwall. You'd have to pay me to go to that game.
Yeah. The Staggies been linked with Cole Stockton, by the way, as we speak.
Have they?
Yeah, which would be a laugh.
Oh my god!
Get him back up.
Oh Jesus! All that reeks of a 1-0 Ross County up in the Cole Stockton, doesn't it?
It definitely does.
From a Ross Callahan wonder ball.
They could have done us a massive favour though, because them winning would have been much better for us. And considering they were 15 minutes away from a win, but then the red card changes a lot.
I'm not gonna lie, Celtic did us a favour as well. I was watching it thinking you could. I honestly, I was adamant in my mind that this is going to end 0-0 and they'll somehow get a point off this mob.
Well, this is the thing. We really need to take advantage of this run because it seems that everybody around us is putting the old firm at all times.
Absolutely,
it's so weird.
Aberdeen's festive fixtures are really tricky, in particular.
Hibs are as well. I think Hibs play Rangers, Celtic, Livy, us.
Jesus, yeah, got to take advantage.
Yeah. Which we did.
And the first step in successfully doing so was a 3-1 victory over Kilmarnock at Tynecastle. Our first victory over Killie in Gorgie since December 2016. I was 18 years of age. I'm now 24. That's a quarter of my life ago. What on earth is happening? What is up with Hearts and these rank records? Killie at Tyney, St Johnstone in Perth, up until recently, Ross County up in Dingwall. This football club.
It's interesting though as well, because I swear Killie have the reverse record at Easter Road, so it's not even like it's an Edinburgh thing. It's it's just a Gorgie thing.
I don't get it. That's quite a decent bit of title material, a Gorgie thing. That's all right.
Better than Josh Gift now.
Or Cammy Delflin.
Yes, exactly. We've been trying before we started recording. We were trying to think of Christmas puns, and Adam came up with Josh Gift Fairley and Cammy Delflin. So that's the quality we're dealing with. We're back. I bet you're all delighted.
I know. Let's just not release this.
Exactly.
Let's just have a chat and then just not release it. However, talking about the Killie game, we're going to talk about the squad selection because finally the time that we've all been craving has come. Hearts are back after the World Cup and we were able to call upon a plethora of players. Robbie Nielsen was thankfully able to welcome both Craig Halkett and Stephen Kingsley back into his 3-man defence in place of Toby Sibbick and the suspended Kai Rolls, much to our delight. And Andy Halliday also returned in place of Orestes Kilmarnock-Soglu. in the third change from the 1-0 draw against Livy last time out, meaning that the Jambos lined up as follows. I took it as a 3-4-3. I saw talk of a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
It looked as though
it was a 3.
Me, anyway,
it was definitely a 3.
It looked as though it was Gordon in goal. Halkett, Kingsley, Cochrane at the back were agreed on.
Mm-hmm.
Smith, Devlin, Snodgrass, and Halliday in the quartet across the middle of the park. But the front three was Josh Ginnelly, Barry Mackay, and Lawrence Shankland. Yet Josh Ginnelly seemed to occupy more of a central position in the early exchanges. What did you make of that team, McIver? You must have been delighted, obviously, to see the defenders return to the starting 11 first and foremost.
Absolutely. Saw a stat where it was like it was the first time we were able to play Halkett and Kingsley together for more than half an hour since September the 3rd or something. Like,
wow,
something mental. Because they played like minutes.
Yeah, it was the
Halkett kept getting hurt against Zurich in the playoff.
Against Zurich, that's right.
Yeah. And then Kingsley got hurt and had to come off when Halkett came back. So it's just crazy.
Oh dear, an absolute mismatch all over the park, isn't it?
And unbelievably, we still were missing Rolls, Haring, GMS, Humphreys. Like, we still had a bunch of players. Benny Boyce in terms of long-term injuries as well. So we still have so many other people still waiting to come back. It's mad. But generally, that's probably the strongest team we have right now, barring injuries. The only exception is Rolls to come in after his suspension.
And then who moves out to... I'm assuming that you're going to put Kingsley or Cochrane in place of Halliday.
Yeah, I would play a 3 of Kingsley left, Rolls right, Halkett in the middle, with Cochrane and Smith wing-backs.
Interesting. And Devlin and Snodgrass, your preferred pairing in the middle?
Yeah. Although, this season, Halliday will be wanting to be a part of that and would justly want to be a part of that. I think it's the weird benefit and negative of Snodgrass is his age, but the benefit to that is that we have Halliday to be able to come in, who I know isn't exactly 25 himself, but
spring chicken.
Yeah, but is able to do so. In regards to Gino playing through the middle, he absolutely was. I wouldn't say it was a 3-4-3 in terms of the 3 were wingers. They were like 10s almost. It was weird, but they were also drifting wide. So I don't really know.
2-1, if you will.
Basically, yeah. But I was delighted with it. I was really, really happy, and we'll get into it. But specifically, the defense, I thought they were fantastic.
Oh, well, that's nice. I mean, in fairness, looking back at the highlights, they didn't exactly have much to do first half.
That's true.
We made a superb start. The first big chance came on 10 minutes. It's a lovely ball from Barry Mackay, which sets Josh Ginnelly on his bike. Gino whips one over to Michael Smith on the far side. He finds Cammy Devlin, who I think should shoot.
No, he shouldn't.
Instead, well, because it's Cammy Devlin.
It's Cammy Devlin. He should not shoot.
And he's too smart. Looks to find Andy Halliday. Like I say, when a shot looked to be on, but Halliday's the one to hit it, albeit it's straight at Sam Walker in the Kelly goal. There's a few minutes later, Barry Mackay looks menacing down the left-hand side again, but his cross is turned behind by Kerr McEnroy for a Hearts corner, but nothing comes of that. However, the breakthrough arrives on 18 minutes. Stephen Kingsley's long punt. You won't hear me say that phrase very often because that man is a wonderful footballer. It's poorly headed back by our former trialist, Joe Wright, looking to find Sam Walker in the Kelly goal. But Josh Ginnelly uses his electric pace to advance beyond him and coolly half volley beyond Sam Walker. Yes, it's a Kelly mishap, but it's a good finish from Josh Ginnelly, isn't it, McIver?
Definitely, and Gino just seems to be, it's playing for that contract form. He's loving life just now, which is great. I think Joe Wright gets caught in two minds. I think initially his decision is, I want to head this forward, and then he gets caught under his own feet and goes, oh, okay, I'll just head it backwards. But I think you can tell he goes, I'm way too far away to be heading this backwards. Like, there's no chance it's getting in my keeper.
Defensive disaster class at the back for Kelly.
Exactly, and clearly the right decision not to sign him as a trialist. But it's a really good finish by Gino. I will be honest, I thought he'd messed it up when he takes like that moment to let it drop. I was like, he's
the
knackered.
Stance he seems to kind of, but it is a fantastic finish. And like you say, his deal's up in May. I want to talk about this because I was quite critical of Josh Ginnelly last season, but I think he's been good for us this current campaign. I really do. I think out of all the kind of wide area options, he's probably been the outstanding candidate, really. Is he the next for you that should be offered a new deal? Because I think he's stuck under the radar, really.
See, I'm trying to think of other people who are coming out of contract, actually. We don't have that many, which is great. Like, we've been quite good with our contract,
yeah,
but
we've done pretty well to tie most of them down, but obviously John Suter, look how that's turned out.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to specifically mention, by the way, Barry Mackay, because I thought
Back to his best, perhaps?
In this first half, I thought he kind of he was a lot quieter in the second half, but in the first half especially, I thought he was kind of not back to his best, but it felt
like looking menacing, wasn't he? He was trying to make things happen, and that's been lacking for a wee while. He's sort of been ghosting out on the left, hasn't he?
Definitely, and I was really happy. There was about 5 passes he made that were like defence splitting completely, just couldn't quite do anything. Also, Devlin was playing similar level passes, and I was like, "What's happened? You got Messi's shirt, and it's given him his power. He's like soaked in Messi's power into him, and he's just playing like 20-yard passes that are fizzing along the ground."
Must be something about Graham Arnold, because that's the second time that Australia have reached the round of 16. Yeah. So just learning from a great gaffer, isn't he?
Exactly. So even though he's not playing a minute.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said it, not me. I'm his mate.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to see this Messi shirt out of the house.
It's in a bank in Australia.
Oh, absolutely guaranteed. Has he actually stored it away? I don't know. We need to get him on and ask him.
He doesn't know where it is. He just knows it's in a bank in Australia. That's it. His mum and dad have dealt with it. They know where. He didn't even take it home.
You're obsessed with him, man. We need him on.
He was interviewed on Sky Sports about it.
Oh, was it? Oh, somebody's beat us to it. Who was it? Luke Shanley or somebody's beating us to it?
No, it was like on they interviewed Nielsen and Gordon and then Devlin because they were like, "We need to speak to you about Messi."
Bastard. Oh, I should have messaged them. That should have been our bloody exclusive, Cammy.
Shocking. It's just you being lazy. That's what it is.
Ah, standard. I know. I've been busy, mate. Been busy.
Use the excuses.
Who's meant to come on? We'll get him on.
We'll
get him and Kai Rolls while he's still a Hearts player, because it could be long.
That's a short window.
Yeah. But speaking of fantastic defenders, Stephen Kingsley again looks to find Josh Ginnelly behind the Kelly defence. He looks offside. Didn't appear to be any flag, but then we realise that Lewis Mayo is playing him on. Do you not think so?
I think if that went VR, he'd just be off.
But either way, I mean, it didn't really matter because at a tighter angle, his effort trickled wide of the post. But on 27 minutes, another major talking point, Liam Donnelly fouls Andy Halliday on the edge of the area, considering Hearts are given a free kick. First of all, McIver, is he in or out the box?
Where the contact is out the box.
Out the box.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And Liam Donnelly is subsequently booked. Josh Ginnelly, Barry Mackay, Robert Snodgrass, all showing an interest in this free kick. It's the veteran Snodgrass that takes, who whips in a lovely ball. And there's the former Ayr United legend, Lawrence Shankland, to nod home against Kilmarnock to double the Men in Maroon's advantage. Snodgrass delivery, Shankland putting the ball in the back of the net. Two favourite aspects of mine whilst watching this Hearts team, McIver. 2-0, happy days.
I have 4 points to make on this. Number one, I was furious Kingsley wasn't over it. I was sat going...
I don't think that favours him.
No, but I was like, I just want him taking all set pieces. So I was sat going...
It's been too long.
I just want to see Stephen Kingsley kick. So guys was like getting ready, and I was like, this will be rubbish. Nothing will happen here. It's like this inch perfect ball.
I love him, mate.
Number two, delighted for Shankland. Like, it's such a good bit of movement to get in between both centre halves. They don't know what to do, and it creates just a space. Number three, when he did his celebration, I was like, that seems quite personal. And my brother went, he was at Ayr for like 4 years. I was like, oh yeah, that does make sense. And then, number four, you won't have seen this as you want at the game. No, Shankland's celebrating. Everybody's loving life. Graham Eason's like, score a number 9, Longshan quid, and on the big screen it just has number 10, Liam Boyce, and Boyce is standing like that.
Brilliant.
So that was funny.
My old man took the ticket, and I asked him what he made of the game, and he said, first half, one-way traffic, and his Hearts nearly do. We nearly end up ballsing it up, but he missed out the fact that Liam Boyce was giving it. Ooh.
Just doing that, and everyone in the stadium just started laughing. An important point, however, though, after this goal, and I noticed it, Kelly changed formation. They also went.
Doing your homework, I like it.
I physically realised it because I noticed about 2 minutes later that suddenly Devlin wasn't getting on the ball as much, and it made me go, "Oh, what's happened?" And I realised they changed to a 3, and they put. I don't know who it was, unfortunately. They put someone else in midfield, and even though for the rest of the first half we still were very much in control, that's when it started to kind of change a wee bit, and in the second half they kept that shape and it really benefited them. But that then asks the question, surely that's not an unexpected thing from us, having Devlin being all the energy, and especially when we're playing a midfield 2 of, with all respect to Snodgrass, because he generally had a good game, a 35-year-old, you're relying on Devlin to do all the work. Why would you not put an extra man in there from the start? It's all well and good doing it 2-0 up. But what?
What would you then go 4-3-3 and have Devlin and Halliday either side of Snodgrass?
No. I mean from a
That's
Kilmarnock perspective.
Sorry.
Why would Derek McInnes not, especially if he's such an experienced manager, why would he not think,
do that sooner?
It's going to be Devlin and Snodgrass in the middle of the park. Devlin's all the energy there. If we put 3 in midfield, 1 can sit on Snodgrass, the other 2 can sit on Devlin, and then we've got control of the midfield. Doing it at 2-0 down, it's kind of like, well, yeah, anybody could do that.
And again, like I was talking about Aberdeen's record at Pittodrie, Kelly won the last 5 games in Gorgie against Hearts. Surely you must have some type of belief. Like, would you think that he was playing for a point off the get-go? Or
maybe. I know, obviously.
They probably view it as a good point, if we're being honest, away at us.
I was just about to say that. It may be an entitlement thing. They're scrapping down the bottom of the league. Any point to them is as important. Yeah. I can understand going with that back 4. But, and especially Nielsen said after it that's why they put Gino through the middle, because he noticed that it was just a two centre-halves and Gino can get through the middle. If you have a 3, it means that literally one person just gets to sit on Gino.
And Ash Taylor and Joe Wright ain't the quickest, are they?
Exactly. They're 2 big physical guys, so Shanklin might have struggled, but Gino doesn't.
Probably like in the game at Rugby Park, we were feeding it up to Stephen Humphreys, whereas that's food and drink to Ash Taylor in particular, who'll just head absolutely anything and everything away. On 35 minutes, Hearts would have the ball in the net for a third time. Josh Ginnelly slips through. Alex Cochrane, who is a man possessed as he marauds forward, but it was to no avail as he was ultimately ruled offside. You must have been absolutely devastated.
I knew he was offside as soon as he got it. I was like, he's a mile off here, by the way. So, like, you did that thing where it was like, way off. But I didn't. Classic. I just stayed sat going, nah, he's offside.
Depressed.
Yeah. But it's just great to see him have the confidence to actually get in those positions. And that, again, all came from Barry Mackay getting the ball and just dragging everybody forward, and it gave Cochrane that freedom to overlap.
It's been outstanding as wee Cochrane, isn't he?
Yeah,
really
player of the season.
You're obviously his biggest fan, so
yeah,
top player. And a good wee purchase, that. It could have been 3 heading into halftime as Cochrane and Mackay link up in the middle of the park. The former finds the latter, who slips to Shanklin, a lovely reverse to tee up Josh Ginnelly, but he balloons wide.
That would have been goal of the season.
Oh,
it was so good.
Liquid football.
Yeah,
absolutely
it was excellent.
Superb.
Yeah.
Bar the finish.
Yeah, which he does sclaff. Like he just kind of, I think he just opens his body too much and kind of leans back a bit.
Yeah. He seems to kind of thrash at it, which you would have expected in his goal, because he does tend to do that, Ginnelly. But that was cool, calm and collected. The effort to put us 3-0 up certainly wasn't. But up the other end, the visitors could have easily pulled one back before the interval. Liam Polworth tests Craig Gordon from range, but that seems a routine stop. However, Kerr McEnroy's corner is headed wide. I don't actually know who connects with it, but it's a golden chance passed up right at the end of the first half.
Right, listen, we'll kind of get on to it more.
That was the warning.
Speaking about the goal, the Kelly goal later, we have had a break, right? We've been in Spain. We've been fighting Spanish teams, right?
Taking on the Vobs.
Yeah. What have we been doing that we still don't know how to defend a cross? It's unbelievable.
I'm gonna make an excuse for the management and coaching team here, in that the centre halves it's literally 2 or 3 strangers at a time. There's been no consistency with regards to selection. And I think that ultimately is, like, if you've got a settled defensive, I think I like a settled 11, don't get me wrong, but I think defensively it's key.
Yeah, it's more
than
important
anywhere else on the park.
Defense,
100%. And I think hopefully, as you say, with Cairo's obviously going to be back from suspension, we start to see that and that be those 3. So
in fairness, this is just a testament to how good Kyle Rose is. Because that game at Ibrox, Kyle Rose just came back in and was heading everything. But
that's true.
Don't.
I say, mate, he's not going to be
our best defender now already. Yeah,
I miss him. I can't wait to see his little ginger noggin. It's great. What a player. But in saying that, with the Kelly chance, Hearts also again play some lovely stuff. Again, numerous players involved. Cochrane looks to build from the back. Snodgrass plays it to Halliday. Centres for Ginnelly. He finds Mackay, who slips it back out wide to the overlapping Andy Halliday, but his cross evades everybody as Lawrence Shanklin was looking to close in at the back stick. But McIver, we played some scintillating stuff in that first half. We really did. But what I want to ask you is, were we really good? Were Kelly really bad? Or was it somewhere in between? What were your thoughts?
It's probably somewhere in between, because the actual football we played was really good. We were prioritising triangles out wide, which is something we haven't done a lot. What normally happens is one of the fullbacks / wingbacks will get it and feed it to one of the wingers, and then the winger will then just drive. But in that game, and Nielsen said it benefits from the formation change, is that you can be the fullback or wingback, give it off to the midfielder and continue your run and overlap, and then get it back. And then that allows for crosses into the box. That's great to see, and we could see that a lot in that first half. But I couldn't believe how bad Killie were, considering the game they gave us at Rugby Park and in the Cup. And now is when I want to mention the reason I think that is. If we had this podcast last week, I would have predicted a 1-0 Killie win with Innes Cameron scoring. However, Innes Cameron did something clearly really bad in the warm-up because he was starting. However, literally as the teams were walking out, it was announced over the tannoy that Innes Cameron got hurt and a youngster came in. And
Bobby Wales.
Yes, Bobby Wales. Derek McInnes didn't speak to the media. I don't know if this is a thing.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that it was Tony Docherty on the sports scene.
Listening to Tony Docherty was interesting. I actually listened to what he said to their own media on their Twitter. And he said they didn't change the game plan at all from Innes Cameron. They said, we're giving Bobby Wales this chance and we're going to treat it the exact same. So I think the problem is that, listen, Bobby Wales is clearly a youngster getting his opportunity. He's not the same focal point that Innes Cameron is, and they continue to go long a lot as if Innes Cameron was still up there. And I think... Or
dare I say it, the suspended Kyle Lafferty as well.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. And I don't think it was any mistake they got better in the second half when Christian Deutsch came on, who I don't think as a game had a good game, but he allowed, because he was a sticking point and a focal point, it allowed players like Armstrong to build around him.
He's got that experience. Even Scott Robinson as well seemed to have...
Scott Robinson changed the game for them. Yeah. He was fantastic when he came on. Fair play to him. I couldn't believe it was him because he's got that bleached blonde hair now. And I was like, that's Scott Robinson.
And he's barely played for Killie. I barely remember him leaving Livingston. And then he went to Killie. I swear he's been absent for ages. So
he was really good when he came on. But yeah, Killie were very... very poor. I think it'll be disappointing. I saw Liam Donnelly got brought off at half time, and Craig Anderson of the Terrace podcast said that Liam Donnelly wouldn't even get into Kelly's team when they were in the championship last season. That's how bad he was.
Yeah, I mean, again, talking to my dad, who was obviously there, I said, what did you make of Kilmarnock? And he said that they're probably the poorest team he's seen at Tynecastle in a good wee while.
That's probably
Do you
fair.
go along with that?
Definitely, yeah.
But in saying that, I mean, we were 2-0 up heading into half time. It looked to be one-way traffic, as commanding a first half since what? The Zurich game?
Probably, yeah.
Probably. And Hearts would look to try and make it 3. Andy Halliday went close with a right-footed effort at the start of the second half. Halkett, Shankland, Devlin, all involved, but a decent save from Walker. But what I wanted to touch on 5 minutes after that, I mean, we had the warning from Kelly at set pieces. They spun another huge chance as Dan Armstrong's free kick finds Joe Wright with a header, a free header. Gordon palms out to Ash Taylor, who skews his effort wide. Up the other end, you had Michael Smith missing a good chance. Hearts again come forward. Mackay, Halliday exchanging a wee 1-2. The right back then only slides past the post. Alex Cochrane is next to slide one past the post. He was determined to get his name on the score sheet after yet another corner. And then there comes a sort of crazy 3-5 minute spell where Alan Power shoots wide. Christian Dodge was next to try his luck, but again, balloons over the bar. But they would pull one back on 73 minutes to set up a nervy final 20 minutes. An unmarked Ash Taylor slides beyond Craig Gordon after connecting from another Dan Armstrong free kick. Fair to say that it'd been coming, but it's dreadful defending from us, McIver, isn't it?
It's really poor. There's two things on that. One, they literally did that free kick twice in the game, specifically the last one that you spoke about where they really should score from it, where Gorgie makes that good save close down at his near post. But I've praised him in this episode, so it would be unfair not to do the opposite. Barry Mackay is the reason we give away that free kick, because Cochrane plays a very simple ball to him. It's not in the highlights, obviously, because the highlight just starts at the free kick. Cochrane plays a really simple ball to him, and Mackay does that thing that is frustrating, where he just lets the ball come to him and starts to turn. But that
as though he lets the ball do the work or whatever.
Yeah. But the ball's nowhere near him yet. So whoever it is, the Killie player just steps onto it, gets the ball, so Mackay just kind of kicks out at him and gives a really cheap foul. So that was frustrating. But as you say, it is just really poor. It's a really good ball. I'll say that. It's an excellent ball in. But
he's not bad, that Dan Armstrong. He's had a good season for Killie.
He's been kind of their main positive this season, really. We still should be doing better. It goes through everybody. It's a good finish for a centre half as well. I will say that. I know he's got,
but an absolute gift.
He's all the work's done for him with our defensive line. I will say that we're playing a high defensive line in set pieces, and my worry for that is that justifiably Gordon is at the age where he's like, I'm not going to be able to rush out and claim a ball like that. It's not like
40 at the end of the month.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if Xander Clark would be able to do that, but there is a massive gap between our defensive line and the goalie. So it means that one of two things has to happen. We either need to drop the line or tell Gordon, you're going to need to just start rushing out and claiming stuff.
And that's not his forte.
No, it's not at all.
So
I'd rather we drop the line back a bit.
You want us to drop a wee bit deeper.
Yeah. Not like suddenly go, we'll just Aberdeen it
just
stand on the line.
Stay on that 6-yard line.
Yeah. It's like, it's just a couple of yards. I think we were out the box. I think it would be not all right if we were in the box slightly. Don't know.
Do you think against the better side we come undone there?
Yes.
I mean, obviously we do for this goal, but I mean, generally speaking, like they probably score a couple more given the chances that they had.
Yeah, definitely. I think the first free kick that they missed in that second half, that's scored by most other teams.
Yeah, I'll go along with that. But up the other end, to our credit, Hearts look to seal the deal. Josh Ginnelly pulls one back for Shanklin from a wide angle. Mackay has an effort blocked by Joe Wright, which looked as though it was going to seal the deal. However, finally, we'd get the chance to do so. Lawrence Shankland heads on to Joe Wright's hand. Yet another contentious VAR decision, another handball.
It's a handball.
Well, that's you've just literally nicked my question. How did you interpret the handball?
It's definitely a handball, and this is one where I don't understand the controversy. Like, there's others that have happened in the week where I fully understand why people will be like, how's that a handball? This one I don't understand at all. What has happened in this moment is that Shankland has nudged Joe Wright, and Joe Wright's went, I'll get a foul for this if I claim it. So puts his arm up, which you're taught not to do. Wait until the passage is gone and then appeal for it, especially when you're on the edge / in the box. It's crazy to be putting your hands that high. So all Shankland needs to do is go, if I get a touch on this, it's going onto his arm. It was so funny being in the stadium for that VAR check, because Graham Eason is on the tannoy going, VAR is checking for a potential penalty with a handball, and we're so used to that kind of taking a wee minute. But Graham Mason goes, VAR is checking for a potential penalty for handball. VAR has given, and the check was nanoseconds. It was really funny how it was like, yeah, definitely a handball.
Not miss this pish to that for free.
But that was it. I watched Sports Scene, and when Foster's speaking sense, you know there's a problem with that couch, right?
That's turn off time.
Yeah. Michael Stewart makes a weird point going, his arm's in a natural position because he's naturally going to appeal. And it's like, well, by that logic, you could use that excuse for anything. Like,
just running round with their hands sky high.
Or going, well, naturally, someone's going to half somebody because they want to stop them scoring. It's like, yeah, but it's still a foul and a red card. Like, just because it's a natural movement doesn't mean is his arm in a natural position? No, because it's up over his head. So it's definitely a penalty.
Because it's in
his hand is in an unnatural position as a defender defending the ball.
Yeah, it is. It is. But is that just to support him because he jumps?
No, because he jumps and then goes and puts one arm up.
Okay. But Shankland scores 3-1, game done. Thank the Lord. It would have been so hearts to wait 4 or 5 weeks to come back. Blitz Kelly first half. There's only one team in the game, deservedly 2-0 up, in the ascendancy, cruising, albeit shite at marking set pieces, allow them back into the game to then piss away a 2-goal lead. But thankfully, that was not the case. We're back, 3 points on the board, and massive considering obviously Aberdeen had dropped the points earlier on in the afternoon. A great win for us.
Absolutely. And that goal took Shankland to joint top goal scorer in the division.
How do you rate his chances? Obviously, Cholak was out with a calf injury the other night.
Is that why he wasn't playing?
Yeah, supposedly it's a calf injury. And then obviously Miovski had next to no service against Celtic, so obviously he wasn't going to bag. And Aberdeen didn't get their customary Pataudry penalty, so
I'm trying to actually see if the team is out yet. It's not out yet to see if Rangers will be playing Cholak. I think. Listen, there's no way you shouldn't doubt him just now. Like, he's doing it. He's literally joined top. He's also actually got two assists on top of those, which is why in the actual board he's first.
Right. Okay.
Because just Cholak and Miovski don't have
because
any.
Obviously the assists get taken out of account.
Yeah. Okay. So in 16 league games, Shankland has 13 goal contributions.
Not bad for a championship standard striker.
It's fantastic. I'm so chuffed for him as well, because he seems to just be really having fun and enjoying it.
Yeah, quite right. It's a short career. Enjoy your football while you can.
He gave a shout out to Jordan at the end of the wee clip that he did. Have you seen that?
Nice. No, I haven't seen that.
It's when Jordan's on the pitch doing the things at the end, and like Gordon's clapping, and he goes to Shankland, and Shankland goes, "Yes, Jarlin Films, come on!"
Love that. Love the promo. Wonder how much Jordan has slipped him. Jordan,
I know.
Definitely, if he's listening to this, I'll definitely get a message. I hope he slipped you some good money, Jordan.
Yeah.
But that was it. That was all that she wrote upon her return. Happy days. Off to Tannadice next. You mentioned Killie and Dundee United. What are we thinking when we take on the Terrors?
Well, I'm going for the first time ever to Tannadice on Christmas Eve. So that's going to be exciting. All I hope is that I don't jinx it, and all the games between Hearts and Dundee United don't stop being rubbish because they're all great.
That's a good point.
I hope I get to continue to see good games. I will say the games at Tynecastle seem to be more interesting than the games at Tannadice. But that's still like a ridiculously high bar, considering there was that 2-2 last season and the 2-1 and stuff like that, where Liam Smith just scored an absolute raker for no reason.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, and Sims came on, scored a raker as well in the latter stage.
Great goals.
Yeah, exactly. Every game's class, basically. So I hope that continues. Listen, if Dundee United haven't fixed their keeper situation, we'll be fine.
And talking about Qatar, the left back impressed at Qatar as well.
So that's what I was going to say. The problem is that they have him, who actually did he get any team in the tournament? He got only one team to the tournament. That off Sunday today. Yeah, he got only one of them. I know there's so many. Every publication has a different team in the tournament, but he got into one of them. Very justified. He nearly scored goal of the tournament. If his goal had went, if there wasn't that block right at the end,
Australia were my favourite team of the tournament.
Yeah,
they were just great.
They were great. But listen, they're really struggling. They have had the extra time off. It'll be interesting to see if they play a wee bit differently, considering Liam Fox has now had time to actually go, right, this is what I want to do. Let's implement this. Will players like Stephen Fletcher and Mulgrew and Ryan Edwards really kind of stand up to it in terms of their experience? Will Dylan Levitt kind of remember who he is? I hope not. But there's no reason for us not to be confident, except for the fact I'm going.
There was me thinking you were going to have some festive fun.
I hope so.
I hope it's some festive fun.
But I'm going to go because it's me going. We'll draw 2 each again.
It's not a disaster. It's not great.
It depends how it happens. If we're 2-0 down and we nick a point, then it's amazing. If we're 2-0 up and it finishes 2-2, it's a disaster.
It'll be that one.
It will be that one. Yeah, definitely. Shanklin to score against his former side?
Yeah, I mean, you think so. But then Liam Smith scored against his former side last year, and it was an absolute worldie. So we don't know. We don't know. But hopefully you and all the other Jambos that are making their way to Tannadice on Christmas Eve have an absolute blast, and hopefully we come back with 3 points.
What's your score prediction?
Christ,
you tried to get away with that.
I was hoping I'd escape there.
No.
2-1 Hearts.
I hope so. Very much hope so.
I'd like a clean sheet, but I'll go 2-1 Hearts.
Same.
Anywho, the quiz to end off.
Here we go. Is it Christmas themed?
One of them's Boxing Day themed.
I'll take that.
There you go. So, to obviously round off our return and installment of the quiz, we have a true or false, a multiple choice, 2 bog standard questions where I need the answer, and obviously the coveted "Who am I?" So, Mr. McIver, your first question is: I also realise it's somewhat World Cup themed. It's a bit of a mismatch, this quiz. So, this is your World Cup question, and it's a true or false. Qatar 2022 saw the most goals scored at the World Cup with 172. But true or false, the previous record was 171.
So I thought the question was going to be, is that true? And in my head, I was thinking to 2010 purely because of the ball. Because the ball just did mental shit.
Yeah.
Only Diego Forlan could score with it consistently. But that's not the question. The question is, so 172 were scored. Is it true or false? So it definitely is, but is the next one 171?
So true or false, the previous record was 171.
So basically the question is, did Mbappe's
it be by a goal?
last minute goal beat it? I'm going to go false because I think it'll have been beaten by a couple.
It is in fact true. 171. Wow. So there you go.
What the hell?
And now 172, which is impressive considering all the 0-0s right at the start. But
exactly.
6-goal final to be expected, perhaps.
Cameroon, Serbia with 3-3. Spain battering Costa Rica.
Was it Ghana, South Korea? Was that one of the games? South Korea.
Portugal, Ghana finished like it was like 3-2 in the second half.
And Portugal battered Switzerland 6-1 as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So there you go. So 0-1. Good start. Hope I roped you in there. So we like that. Kelly knocked us out the League Cup at Tynecastle in August. But which Kilmarnock striker scored what proved to be the winning goal? Was it A, Ollie Shaw, B, Kyle Lafferty,
no,
C, Innes Cameron,
yeah,
or D, Christian Deutsch?
It was Innes Cameron.
It was. Well done.
Yeah,
good. Glad you were paying attention.
I was. Sad at night, just sat going, right, side, we're out of this cup again, are we?
Header. It's another year added to the collection.
Exactly.
Thought I could rope you in there. That's terrible from me.
You must have been gutted that I brought that up during the show.
Yeah, I was. As soon as I heard of this camera, I was like, bastard, he's done his homework. There's a wee Christmas gift for you.
Thank you. It's much appreciated.
Hearts' last win against Kilmarnock at Tynecastle, as I alluded to earlier before the weekend, was a 4-0 victory in December 2016. But I want to know, Mr. McIver, who bagged a brace in the game that day for Hearts?
Okay, so I thought you were going to say who were all the goal scorers, like you always do.
Very tempted to give you that, but I thought he'll go absolutely nuts.
But it's Christmas, so you'll be nice.
Yeah.
Right. December 2016.
Yes.
So, at that
Robbie's
point...
first spell.
At that point, we've got Isma up front.
Tell a lie. He'd left by this point.
He had left by this point. Right.
Ian Cathro.
Wait, had he?
Ian Cathrow's tenure. Yeah, it was under Cathro. I remember it.
I thought Robbie left January 2017.
No, it was Cathro that was in charge. I'm going to check, but I'm
when was the Rangers game where Muirhead scored twice?
Is that not November? No.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of like winter. I remember it being winter. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Right. So, Cather's team, but he's not had a window, so it is still Robbie's team. So, Isma's knocking about. Was Wanma still getting...
This was Cathrow's first win.
Interesting. No. Oh, I'm thinking of the Rangers game. Because I swear Walker scored twice in the Rangers game when we beat them under Cathro. But did he score twice? I can't even think of who the options would be. I don't think it's Robbie Muirhead, because Robbie Muirhead's like finest hour was that brace against Rangers.
That's all he did.
Yeah. I don't think it was like... Was Patterson even still here? Or was he hurt? But I think he would have got a brace. He got hurt against Kelly. I know that. In the 1-1 draw. I'm going to go with Walker, although I think it's wrong.
Well, Mr. McIver, Alan Patterson opened the scoring.
Fuck.
Arno Doom added the second before a Jamie Walker brace.
Yes!
A 4-0 win. Very
My
good.
best mate.
Well done.
Get in. Well in, Jamie.
I thought I'd include your mate. So there you go. Good knowledge. What's that? 2 from 3.
Yeah.
You're redeeming yourself here. I've made this too easy.
Yeah.
Stuff for myself.
It's Christmas!
Yay! Well, until we get to the Who Am I, because I'm trying to make that as tricky as I possibly could.
It'll be
brutal. Before the Who Am I, Hearts don't have a Boxing Day fixture this year, but they did in 2021. Who scored the winner for the Men in Maroon against Ross County on December the 26th, 2021 in a 2-1 victory?
It was at Tynecastle. Oh, Ben Woodburn.
It's the correct answer. My mate in the quiz as well.
I remember Haring played an unbelievable ball because there was no fans because we're in tier 4.
Should have put in who scored the opener. Do you know who scored the opener that day?
Kingsley?
I thought Woodburn.
No, Michael Smith.
But Michael Smith it was. Well,
because I won money on it. I remember that.
It
was really early. It was like 4 minutes in or something.
Yeah, I think, definitely in the first 5. Yeah, I think that's right. Good knowledge, mate.
Right,
well done.
3 for 4. I'll take it. As a base, I'll take it.
Yeah, at the very worst, you're coming out with 60% here. A solid B.
That's all you need.
That's good. You've done well. But to cap it off and make it 4 from 5, your Who Am I is... Right. I joined the Jambos after scoring 33 goals in 66 games for another European capital club. I gathered eight caps in 6 years for my country, but didn't score for the national team. I scored a hat-trick on my first Hearts start, but left after amassing just 2 further goals in an extra 22 games, so 5 goals in 23 competitive games. And I'm nicknamed the Surgeon. Who am I?
What the hell? Right.
I'm going to get this man's Wikipedia up because I know that you're going to ask questions. So let's just do that.
Initially, this is wrong. So this isn't my guess, and I'm going to disregard him. But my initial thought went to Jankowskis, but I don't think he played for a capital city club from when I can't even mind. Who did they win the Champions League with?
Porto.
Yeah. Yeah, it's no Jankowskis, because Jankowskis scored for Lithuania. Did you say they've never scored for the national team?
In 8 caps, and yet, well, they didn't score for the national team.
Jankowskis will have got more than 8 caps as well. Right. Between what years did he play for us?
I knew you were going to ask this question. 2006 to 2009.
Right. It's definitely no Jankowskis. It's the year after we win the cup. Or is it the January?
Good question, McIver.
Right. Well, to be honest, I can't remember. The only person I know we signed in that January was Mark Birchall. So we wouldn't have signed somebody else. And I've done Mark Birchall for Europe. That was the last one we did. So unless you've just had a mind blank and just went, I'll go with Mark Birchall again. Let's go to Hatchet. Right. What?
Oh, yeah.
No, that's
really guilted into thinking the second question.
That's a stupid question to ask. I'm not going to ask that.
Right. Go on, it doesn't count as your question, but what were you going to ask?
Yeah, this isn't my question, but I was going to ask what nationality he was. But I don't think that'll help me.
Okay, we can leave that.
Give me the clues again. I can't remember the last 3.
Okay, so I joined the Jambos after scoring 33 goals in 66 games for another European capital club. I gathered 8 caps in 6 years for my country, but didn't score for the national team. I scored a hat-trick on my first Hearts start, but left after amassing just 2 further goals in an extra 22 games, so 5 goals in 23 competitive games. And I'm nicknamed the Surgeon. Who am I?
Right, so he didn't play a lot. The only other name I've got is Pania. But I don't think it would have been, but I don't think Pania scored a hat-trick on his debut. Right, what clubs did he play for?
Right, okay. Oh, crikey.
Oh,
let's go. Right. Yeah, this isn't easy. So, Tervarit, HJK, Hearts, FC Thun, HJK on loan again before making that a permanent move, Sydney FC, back to HJK, then SV Sandhausen, FC St Gallen, IFK Mariehamn, SJK, VPS, HIFK, TS Kemi, AC Oulu, and OLS Oulu.
Right, there's 2 things to take for that.
Where he started his youth career. There you go.
There's 2 things to take for that. One, he fucking loves HLK, or whatever it was. HJK. And secondly, I only know where Hearts and Sydney are. I don't know where any of those other clubs are. And the problem is, I can't think of any forward-type players / midfielders from that time period that signed then.
Do you want me to tell you where these are all from?
Tell me... No, because that's kind of cheating. Tell me where...
I respect it.
Tell me where the team he started his youth career is. But you can ignore everything else.
They are a Finnish multi-sports club based in Oulu.
Finnish?
I think there's a load of folk that will get this now.
It can't be Gudjonsson, because we've already had Gudjonsson. So it can't be him. But I can't think of anybody else.
Who are you thinking? Bjorn Jonsson? Who are you thinking of?
Yeah, sorry. We've not had Johnson, have we? And he's signed fucking a decade later.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I was going to.
We've had Eggy Jonsson.
Yes.
He's been done. I know who I can picture his face now. and I have no idea what his name is. He was blonde, and I don't know what his name is. That's gutting because I know what he looks like. He was tall and shit, and I know what he looks like. He was really bad. I want to say some like a name like Finn Bogason, but I don't think we ever had him.
That boy's Icelandic that you're thinking of.
He is.
Finn Bogason.
He is. I can literally picture him, but you could give me 1,000 guesses and I wouldn't know his name.
So you giving up, or you just
no?
Give us a name?
I'm going to try and think of the most Finnish sounding name that I can think of.
Right. Okay.
Watch him not even be Finnish. He's just started his career in Finland. I'm going to say, even though this makes no sense because he never played for us, Gu Johnson.
It's not Gu Johnson.
I'm absolutely shocked to hear it.
Do you not remember the bloke that scored against Barca?
Yeah, I do, but I can't remember his name. I was there when they did it. Oh, is it fucking... No, it's not Michaela, is it?
Is it?
Michaela. Final answer.
Juho Michaela. Yes. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I had to basically give you that there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that really counts, but you in fairness, you did think of the guy.
I just couldn't remember his fucking name.
Yeah, 6'3". God knows why he's known as the surgeon, by the way. I tried to click that link and not having it.
I'm also saying right now, you did me there you didn't include like a hint like he scored against a very big team or something, or he scored in Hearts' biggest attendance game ever.
No, because then it's a gift.
That's shocking.
Then it's an absolute gift.
I still wouldn't remember Michaela.
Hold on a second. I've given you enough gifts in the quiz as it is.
True. Right, here's the question though. Do I get the point for that? Because I remembered who he was and I remembered his name. I think we leave it to the listeners.
I think we do leave it to the listeners.
I think we leave it to the
exact same thing. So leave a comment down below if you're on YouTube. Does McIver get that point? I mean, it means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. Tweet us, chuck it on the Instagram because we'll probably put out a Who Am I clip. Does McIver get the point for Juho Michaela?
Because if I do, that would make it 6-2 or 7-3. No, you've got 3. You've got 3.
Yeah, I needed to go back and have a look at all these.
I think it's 7. If I get it, I think it's 7-3. If I don't get given it, I think it's 6-3.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll have a look for that for next week.
Yes, I'll do that. I'm hosting, so I'll do admin
or some other sado. If you
my
got
dad
nothing better to do, then you can go back. Yeah, Graham. Thanks, mate.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
But anyway. Massive thank you for listening. We hope that you're glad we're back. I bet you've missed this. Why?
Said nobody ever.
Exactly. But we've enjoyed it at least. We're glad we're back. And we hope that you have enjoyed this episode. If you have, please share it about on everything. If you've been listening to it just on a podcast platform, please leave a review. That massively really helps us. If you've been watching it on YouTube to see our festive jumpers, loving that. Adam shelling out for a brand he doesn't even like. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe on that. It massively helps. We're at Perth to Paisley on all forms of social media where you can tweet us, Instagram us, let us know if I get the point for the Who Am I. We're also perthtopaisley@gmail.com if you want to fire us over abuse about. No, you're not actually getting that point. How dare you even suggest it? Adam, where can they get you on social media?
You can get me on all the socials to tweet me pictures of Juho Michaela at Adam T. Kendall. What about yourself?
I'm at DMcIver22. We'll be back next week to discuss all the fallout for the Dundee United game and preview St Johnstone.
Oh God.
Love that. And the Derby. No, we won't. Yeah, we will.
Yeah, we will. That.
We will. That. Aye. So much stuff. We hope from both of us that you have a great Christmas, Boxing Day. You get all the Hearts calendars and annuals and
that those that don't celebrate have a great day nonetheless.
I was getting to that. You made it sound like I care about anybody else that doesn't celebrate Christmas.
Sorry.
See, it wouldn't be a Pet Pacey podcast. Come back without us arguing about something. So
something needless.
Have a great festive period, whatever you celebrate. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
What a JTs!